Well, welcome into Steelers Latest, your daily spot for all news and information related to your Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm your host, Cole Denis, and please like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy all the content to stay up to date with everything Steelers. But let's get rolling as week one wasn't as we expected, of course. I thought the defense would look a lot better. The offense might be getting off to a slow start. Reverse that completely as the offense drops 34 and a 34-32 win. Mhm. The New York Jets. Well, absolute barn burner, actually. It was unreal. I could not believe what we were seeing. Aaron Rodgers rewind the clock for us Steelers fans. Thank God, because defense wasn't keeping us in this one for the first time in years. Came down to what this offense could do and how far they were going to take us, and they took us all the way yesterday. As Rodgers went for 22 for 30, 241 yards, and four touchdowns in this game against the Jets. We haven't seen a four touchdown game from our quarterback as Steelers fans since 2020, November 15th, against Cincinnati when Big Ben was our quarterback. We haven't seen a quarterback with a pass rating of 136.7 since week 10, 2018 with Big Ben. So, to say the least, Rodgers has been the most impressive quarterback for this team since Ben was here. We knew this going into the game. That was one of my predictions kind of going into this game, that Rodgers would lead us back to having an actual capable passing game for the first time in years. It did feel that way. And you can just watch the last touchdown he throws to Calvin Austin, leading off play action into the roll. Right. Accolade throws a laser straight to Austin. It was beautiful. We haven't seen anything like that ever, maybe, because we know Rodgers, when he gets going, it's the prettiest ball in all of sports. And early on in this game, it was a good sign. Instantly, it looks like we're about to go three and out. Rodgers picks up a 3rd and 10. After we pick up the first 3rd and 10 on our first drive, it's 3rd and 10 once again. Rodgers picks it up on a short out to maintain that trap. It was the first time in years there was some confidence on the offensive side of the ball, it felt like. It was the first time in years. It didn't feel like the offense every time they got it. We were just going to run our three plays, punt it, see what our defense can make a stop, try to win the field position battle. No, didn't matter. You see how we shot the ball yesterday. We were scoring touchdowns. And Rodgers, we all knew this game meant a little more playing the former team. He didn't want to say it leading up to the game, but after the game, he was happy. Beat everybody associating with the Jets. We know, Aaron. We know. But let's move on to the wide receiver room as that. They surprised me a little bit yesterday. As I'm going to admit it, I probably was wrong about Calvin Austin and worrying about him being wide receiver number two because he made impressive contested catches all yesterday. Two impressive red zone contested catches. Um, DK Metcalf had four receptions for 83 yards also. He looked phenomenal. He was someone that Rodgers was just kind of getting the ball out to in space, and he was able to trade a lot after the catch, kind of switch roles with Austin for this game. I would have assumed Calvin Austin was the dude you try to get into space. It's the dude gonna win the contested catches. No, not today. Calvin Austin was the one going up and catching the ball over receivers or cornerbacks' heads, as Austin had four receptions for 70 yards on a touchdown. GK can find the end zone. Once again, he looks very athletic out there. I mean, Austin made some crazy catches on Rodgers times. Like some of those passes, some of the placement on the passes were just insane to watch. It's been so long since we've seen such good passes, such good accuracy on the ball. And for the rest of the receiving tight end running back room, seven different players did end up catching a pass. I said eight were going to get involved. There was only seven. We were close enough. Another new guy, Thomas Smith. He had 5 for 15. He seems to be more of the security blanket. He also scored a touchdown on a little jet end around on the goal line. So He seems like he's going to have a nice, solid role for this offense. The new players looking really solid yesterday. It just feels, as I've been saying, finally have some explosion on the outside and relative consistency once again on the offensive side of the ball. If the pass game keeps looking up like this, run lanes could open up very soon. Well, let's move to the other side of the ball. As a disappointment, I felt with this defense yesterday was absurd, allowing 32 points to the Jets. Awful, considering the Jets are probably going to be one of the worst teams in the league this year. All last week, we talked about how two things the Jets are going to want to do. They're going to want to run the ball with Brees Hall, Braylon Allen, and Justin Fields, which they were able to do. They almost go over 200 yards against us. And when they pass the ball, they're going to try to get it to guess who? Garrett Wilson. 7 receptions for 95 yards. What were we doing out here? What was the game plan going into this game? Because it felt like we couldn't execute it on call. What should have been the two main focuses of taking away the offense were just allowed to happen all game long. It felt like the defense was able late in the game to shut it down, but very embarrassing in my opinion to let the Jets and Justin Fields do this to us. Was a rough week defensively. I mean, as I said, it feels like the game plan just was never put in place to shut down Jets' weapons and top threats on the offensive side of the ball. I just don't know what was talked about all week long leading up to this game, but we have to change. I know this side of the ball will get better, but it was just, as I said, a big letdown to come out so flat-footed in week one on the defensive side of the ball when it's been for consistency for years now, and the reason we've been in games for years now. But honestly, winning week one this year, 34-32, feels a little better than winning week one last year, 18-13, when we didn't score a touchdown. So I'm not gonna lie. I do have more confidence that this team's defense can figure it out after a slow start than if the offense started slow. Let's look at some positives on the defensive side of the ball to wrap up the show now. Also, two new safeties, Juan Gardenhill and Chuck Clark, actually provided they were four or two of the top four leading tacklers on the team. There was a four-way tie with 8 goes between Gardenhill, Clark, Highsmith, and Patrick Queen. Let's be honest here. Would rather not have my safeties be in the guys making most of the tackles, considering they're the last line of defense. But when you get called upon like they did in this game, Reese Hall was able to just downhill and get downhill fast. So it was nice to see Clark subbing in for Sean Elliott after Elliott's injury. He was able to make a lot of plays. Thornhill looking like a solid replacement for Minka Fitzpatrick. Didn't feel like we were missing too much back there. Once again, I'd like to see everything get fixed up a little bit on the defensive side of the ball. The linebacker duo in the middle looked pretty solid. Ramsey, he looked nice on the outside. Just Darius Slay, he got beat a couple of times by Wilson. It's still a little sketchy to me. The defensive front, really lackluster this game, but we'll figure out. That has been it from Steelers Latest. I'm your host, Cole Denis, and I'll see you tomorrow.